Hi everyone and welcome back. I'm Mia and this is Alberto, your business coach. So let's rewind a little bit. On the first episode, we were focusing on the clarity of roles. Because if you don't know who's doing what and what they're doing, you do not understand the business accountability and responsibilities. And on day 2, we showed you how to understand the cost of time KPI. Because as a business owner, your time is your most important asset. So you need to understand your priorities. And now on day 3, we are diving into processes. This is where we start to connect those roles and the time value has a real performance of your business.
That's correct. On day 3, we want to really focus on making sure that everything is mapped out because let's face it, as a small business owner, most of the time everything is here. And that's when it gets us. If everything's in our head, we have to remember everything. We start getting a little burned out.
Totally, Alberto. You're trying to understand every process and every connection between departments is exhausting. That's why putting on paper and creating a process map is so powerful. It gives you that clarity.
Correct. And then today, I want to start focusing on helping us understand how to do mapping. And I'll start telling you a little story. So a while ago, when cars started, Henry Ford became and brought Ford to the spotlight because he was able to produce cars at a very, very cheap scale and price. Because he would say, oh, what color do you want? You're like, I want a blue. You're great as long as it's black. And so he created this concept of mass production. And so if everyone was buying the same thing, he could essentially gain what we call economies of scale. But with time, a new competitor came and it was called Toyota. So Toyota created this quality management system called just-in-time. And what they did is they look at the process and they started from the end to get to the beginning. And Ford was start from the beginning to get to the end. Because with time, competition came and people were starting being more interested in personalizing their experiences, their purchases. And in order to reduce the cost to get there, Toyota understood that they had to make exactly what the customer wanted at the time that the customer wanted. And so that is probably what the biggest strategy that made Toyota super profitable. So I want to start looking at process and help everyone understand. For instance, let's go back to our example of bakery. We know that traditionally thinking we need to have a great product, right? That's how our passion starts. We put in a very beautiful design, a concept store. We put in a shelf and then we wait for customers to come, right? But shouldn't be the other way around, right? In order for you to figure out your financial freedom, you have to first understand what is that your customer want? When does he want? At what price does he want, right? And then you build your product based on what's going to be more successful. And so to take a step even further about that, ultimately for small business owners, word of mouth is the most powerful tool to get your business successful. So what are we talking about? We're talking about ultimately at the end of the process, it's not the consumer utilizing eating your bread, but it's like, can that person make advertising for us, right? Will that person do a social media post, give us a review, right? That's how we know whether our process is successful or not. And so how do we do this? Let's start with that. The end game is, can people promote our business? If they don't promote our business, it means because they didn't like our product, right? So it means that we have to look at our product. So that means that we have to change the recipe or whatever, right? So that's what I mean by looking from back towards the beginning. And how does that impact, right? So that's what we call your master track. Your customer experience is putting in your head, like you have your master flow, your master framework. And below that, you're going to have all the other modalities that you can find and help your team get better. So let's go there for a minute. On the customer review side, how many steps would it's required to get to that point? So if you look from a marketing track, that marketing person has to understand who's the customer, what pricing points, where they are located, do they have the discretionary income to actually acquire that, how many times it would acquire that. So it gives you a perspective like your market potential. Then your finance department is going to look at the supply chain, the performance, right? So how many offerings should you have in there? So you go into something we call ABC curves. So from everything you're offering, most likely at some point you're going to have your A products you would call top sellers, right? And then you're going to have the B products, which is like potentially the things that you're a little more profitable, but the volume's not there, right? And then C are the things that you're testing out, but you haven't figured out like whether they're going to sell or not. So in order for that to happen, your kitchen has to tell us what the recipe is and what ingredients they want to buy. And then if you look just to get one review, there's so many tracks and layers underneath it, so that you have to map everything out so that you understand who's doing what and what's the accountability. And then as a business owner, you take what we learned last week and something we're calling cost of time. So as you're mapping out the process, you'll figure out where's your bottleneck, like where's your process, and then you're gonna look how to solve that, and then you're gonna see how much time and money is gonna cost you to solve that. And then you're gonna look at your personal cost of time, and you're gonna realize, if it costs me $20 an hour because I need a better social media presence, and I'm gonna do that because my cost of time is $100 an hour? Probably not, because I have a bigger problem to solve, which is like, hey, how do I figure out what's the most important product to sell? Right?
Okay, so customers need to love the product, which means we need to deliver something that they want and the time that they want and how they want it. So it's all about this interconnectedness. And ultimately, it gives us clarity of who's responsible for what, and we can hold people accountable.
Correct.
So don't be afraid to map out your processes. It might seem daunting, but it's a game changer, right?
100%. I definitely recommend. It's the only way to get everything from here to execution.
Awesome. And how we can learn more about your coaching and schedule a consultation with you.
So don't forget to hit that subscribe button, the notification bell. There's our website on the bottom, and send us a message to get a free consultation.
Yep, and we'll see you in the next one.
Bye.